I could just sit here all day and be like, oh, I love
My hair looks
just depending on the angle, you know, skinnier or heavier. Yeah, these ones aren't flattering.
You want to discuss it at all?
Sure. I can do that. I'm pretty. What would you like me to say?
Whatever.
Well, I guess the original concept from this work kind of came from an aesthetic point of view. Like I often am driven by aesthetic decisions as well as some conceptual concerns. But you know, originally I think I've been making circles and spheres for probably the better part of 10 years. I think there's something compelling about like the infinity of it and kind of the completeness of the form, and within variety. I do other work as well, but. So yeah, this kind of spawned from enjoying the process of making these items in repetition, as well as kind of, again, the universality of kind of the infinite sphere and things of that nature. And then, you know, I got into how to use glass as a distilling type material. I think we use it every day in our lives, but then when you put it into the context of art and kind of sculpture, people have a really different opinion about it, and they get overly cautious of it and precarious, and they start treating the object in this really kind of reverend way. And I think it's funny because we use glassware every day in our lives and we're around it constantly, but then when you put it into this context, people get really hyper aware. And so I kind of was playing off of that hyper awareness and creating these objects that confronted the viewer with their own reflection and their own surroundings kind of infinitely, but also becoming hyper aware of their movement through a space. So a lot of it had to do with kind of the physical body and how that transcends, and the relationship to architecture and space that we take for granted a lot of times. You know, we come into a building and we have reactions to it sometimes, like the space is really grand or the space is really tight. But as far as like processing it and really resonating with how it makes you feel and being able to process that, like I feel this way because of this physical contribute or physical aspect. So I was interested in those aspects of kind of heightening the viewer's experience by confronting them not only with their own image, but then these kind of scary, precarious items in a close proximity, so they became extremely aware of how they were physically moving and their body language and their relationship to the objects and to each other inside of one contained space. So I think in that way this installation successfully does that. People get a little bit nervous, they get a little bit tense, they get hyper aware, and I think that's kind of where the work was coming from.
This is a good interactive.
Yeah, that's a good one right there.